Hi, everybody. It's Pastor Siri. I am a Lutheran pastor and also a spiritual seeker. And in all of my videos, I really want to offer a new and expansive way for us to look at the reality that we live in. So more and more of us can heal and choose a better reality that we can all live in. And so today I want to talk about jealousy. Take a listen. So I want to start out with a story. When I was 22 years old and I had just graduated from college, I was with my boyfriend going to, I think, a Barnes & Noble or some bookstore. And there, right by the cafe, was a couple guys, someone playing a guitar and maybe somebody else on keyboards, and they were just sort of singing some music. And in that moment, I had this intense, overwhelming feeling of jealousy. So much that it almost made me sick, and it kind of ruined my day. You see, for many years, I had been writing my own music, and it was something that I'd go in practice rooms and I'd play for hours, composing music of all kinds. And it was so life-giving for me, and yet I didn't really have an outlet for that yet. It was this clearly a huge part of my identity and creativity and purpose in this world, but I didn't know how to channel it. I didn't have the instruments to be able to take my music on the road. I didn't have the connections. I didn't even have the confidence to know that I would be able to do that. And so this came out as a huge, overwhelming jealousy. Over the years, what I have really learned to do is to notice when I have feelings of jealousy. And remember, jealousy is different for each and every one of us. What I get jealous of is completely different from what you're going to get jealous of. And that's because at the root of it, jealousy is our soul trying to figure out its place in this world and wanting to be seen and sharing its gifts. But jealousy is a byproduct of this world that we've been taught, a world that says that there's not enough, that we have to compete with one another, that if that person's doing well, then I can't be doing well. And if there's some sort of life stage or circumstance that we might be stuck in that's preventing our soul from fully living in this world, honestly, whether it's external situation or internal situation, if we all of a sudden see someone who is freely and abundantly living their purpose and it's really close to what ours are, it's going to manifest as jealousy. And I'm not going to tell you that that's like a bad thing or like you shouldn't be jealous, because that's just how we are. We have been so trained into thinking competitively, into thinking that there's not enough in this world for me to be celebrated and for you to be celebrated and for this person to be celebrated, for us all to be seen and living at our full potential and have everything we need. We're not taught that. And so it's so natural that when our soul sees something we want, we feel jealous. The other way the jealousy might show up is we get really irritated at somebody. We might not even see it as jealousy, but we all of a sudden export the internal pain of feeling confined, and we export that onto anger onto someone else. That might look like seeing somebody with tons of self-confidence, seeing someone who's promoting their work or, showing off their amazing body or whatever it is, and we hate them. We're like, they are just showing off all the time, blah, 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 and we want to tear them down. One of the ways in which we try to make ourselves feel better, remember, in this competitive world that we're taught to live in, is by tearing someone else down. So that's another way jealousy can come out, and it's not good for any of us. There is a completely different way that we can live in this world. And the first thing we can do is to really listen to those feelings of jealousy and frustration and irritation at someone else, and just check in with your soul and go, What are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to tell me about my desires and my missions and my purpose in this world? And if I would have had the wherewithal when I was 22 years old to have really checked in with myself about that, what I could have started to do is to create a game plan and to say, all right, Siri, so you really obviously want to perform publicly. So why don't you start to work up a set list of music that's yours or music that's not yours that you love, and put that together and start rehearsing it, and then try to network. Find musicians, walk up to them and say, hey, how are you figuring this out? How are you doing this? And the truth is, that would have raised a lot of insecurity and fear in me. And that's the other thing for us to look at, is that a lot of times there's internal blocks that we have that we may not even realize we have, that we've harbored feelings of insecurity and worthlessness. And it's really good for us to be honest about that and to start working on that, to see them for what they are, and then to start questioning them, to start letting our imagination get bigger, to dream what would it feel like truly, truly feel like and look like in our body to be living the dream that we want. What would that look like? How could I wake up in the morning, and what would my life look like? And what would I feel like walking around in my body if I was inhabiting the fullness of the biggest dream I could possibly have? And that kind of imagination can start to point your soul in a direction to make you ready to kind of get going and move in the direction that you want. The other thing I think that's really important is for us to remind ourselves that this world is very abundant, and we do not have to live in scarcity and competition. That is a way we have been taught to think from the time we were small, and we do not have to think that way. So a practice for me when I see someone who's doing something I want to do is I pause if I start that to feel that jealousy, and I think, gosh, if I was them, I would really want somebody to cheer me on. And so my thought is to be like, good for them, good for them. There is enough for them to succeed, and for me to succeed, and for her to succeed, and for her to succeed, and for all of us to be living our dream. There's enough in this world for all of us. And it doesn't have to be competition, it can be collaboration. The very person that I might feel jealous and competitive towards, like I need to do what they're doing and I need to do it better, could actually be the person we end up working together and building each other up. It's a completely different way to see things. Instead of seeing as like, well, who's doing better than me and who's higher and who's da-da-da-da, to really think about how we can support each other and both be raised up. Because here's the thing, we are all unique. We are all different. If I go back to the music thing, there are some people who would listen to me, who would find my music really inspiring and valuable. And there are people who won't. And that's just life. There are some people who just aren't going to like the sound or the words or whatever it is, and other people who will. And those people who might love my music and the way that I perform would also have room within them, of course, to love this person and this person and this person and this person. Do you only love one musical artist? Do you only get inspiration from one kind of a teacher? Probably not. There's enough for all of us. We are all unique. So when we honor who we are inside, and when we honor our purpose and our soul's mission, and we get clear on what it is we want to do, and we allow for those feelings of jealousy and irritation and envy to just be a prompt for us to be curious about what our soul feels is not being expressed. Maybe our soul is saying, we're ready for that now. We are ready to try that. It is time. We've held ourselves back too long. So this is like an invitation and a permission for you to just get a little bit curious. And maybe you can't do 100% of what you want to do right now, but you can take baby steps. In fact, I will tell you that like really simple movements in the right direction can really make me feel proud of myself and sort of complete that part of me that feels jealous. Like, I may want to be a best-selling author, but just completing a book and getting it self-published was enough to make me feel so darn proud of myself and appease that sense of jealousy. Just moving in the right direction is such a really, really great thing. So I hope this was helpful for you, because I really do think this is a universal thing we struggle with and we don't talk about it. And we often feel a lot of shame when we feel jealous of someone else, or we want to blame them because they made me feel this way. And let's see if we can just have another way to think about it. Let's think about abundance. Let's think about how unique we all are. Let's think about collaborating with each other so all of us can reach our full potential and express our soul's purpose, desires, and missions. Well, I hope this was helpful, and until next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.